Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have metal band Breaking in a Sequence.
What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I just wanted to find out a little bit about some of your history and stuff. If Joe, you want to go first and just say when you started getting into playing guitar and what inspired you, if was there some musical influences that inspired you to get into guitar?
I started music really young. My mom was a musician. She used to play Sunset Strip all the time. Same thing with my father. He played guitar and sang, and my mom played keys. And so I kind of grew up in studios and listening to music. It was always kind of like in my blood with all that. And I started playing really young. I started playing piano first, and then I moved to drums. I thought I wanted to be a drummer for a while. And then I started playing guitar. Like, I think I got my first guitar when I was 11 or 12. And it just kind of stuck with me ever since then. And I would just, different genres of music and, acoustic and, uh, moving on to, heavier music and rock and then eventually metal and new metal and, yeah, I started really young with all that stuff, but whatever instrument with music wise, but it seemed like the guitar was the one that stuck with me for whatever reason.
And Mike?
I started playing guitar maybe like eighth grade. My mom's like, "What do you want for Christmas? Drum set or guitar?" Because back then I would always be playing drums on something or being young and jamming on boxes and whatever we had, playing the Aerosmith and all that. I got the guitar. Um, so it was kind of on off for a while, and then I met some guys that played, and they kind of taught me how to play and kind of where I got my style now. Um, but yeah, I played all up until now. But yeah, influence has always been hard rock, learned by my friends and then a lot of System of a Down. So, I trained myself for the ear, reading tabs and, never really had too much lesson. So I don't know all the cool chords like Joe, but the heavy thing's my thing. So Joe's a awesome acoustic guy.
How did the band form? How did you all guys come together?
Technically, um, I've the bass player Chris and I have been basically friends and playing in bands together since we were like 14 years old, and we played in other projects uh, together throughout the years. And we ended up being in another project. Somebody gave us a call up and asked if we wanted to play in a band with David Silvera, and we were like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so we did that for like a year, and it wasn't really anything that it was just us, filling in on older music and doing stuff. But we realized that David, Chris, and I realized that we liked playing together. And then when we were starting writing and grooving and jamming, we were just coming up with some cool stuff, and we were going to move on to and wanted to start something, um, fresh and new with the three of us that we knew, at least at the time. And at the time, we were playing with another guitar player too, and it didn't work out with him. But Mike has been a buddy of mine for the last 10 years or something, and he's always been solid. And he used to guitar tech with me with other projects and stuff. And he was, he was always like my go-to guy. And he sat back in the corner and kind of watched all this crap happen when we were building everything and doing whatever. And then, and he was actually my roommate at the time. And he's like, "Hey, I want a shot at this." And then we all talked about it. And Dave's like, "I didn't even know he could play guitar," So, me and him worked together for a couple weeks, and he came in and joined the band a little bit later. And we just wrote a bunch of music that we thought that we were vibing to, and we just put out a press release. And with David in the band, we got a little bit of coverage on it, that we were looking for a singer, and we got like 300 something submissions or like that from worldwide. And we picked a handful of them, like 10 of them that we sent out some tracks to. And we got a lot of good people. We had people flying in from Germany and coming in across the United States and stuff like that to try out with us. And, I'm really fortunate. And we found Rich before we were going to make our last decision, because he was somebody that we thought we should send the music to, and we didn't. And I said, we should, before we make a final decision, we should send it out to Rich and see what happens. And then we sent it to him, and it was like probably 3 or 4 days later, he took what we sent to them and chopped it all up and sent it back to us. And it wasn't anything that in totally different format from what we did. And for at first we were like, what? Who does this dude think he is? You know. And then we listened to it for over a couple of days, and we were all texting each other in the band thread like, "Hey, this is actually pretty fucking good," And then we sent him another track that was after that, and he chopped that up and made 2 songs out of it. And so we were like, "Okay, well, we already got half an EP here. Maybe we should have this guy come down and see what's up." And he came down and killed it. And within a couple practices, we knew what it was. So that was how we became Bias, or Breaking in the Sequence. So that's how it started.
We thought we had the songs one way, and this guy's changing them up.
Is that kind of like how the name started too? Because he broke up the sequence of the songs.
You could say that. You could say that. He broke up the sequence of the band and our whole mojo and everything to it. But he brings a good vibe, and he brings, he's a great vocalist on top of everything. I love doing harmonies and singing with him. We vibe on that level, and he's just he's a very structured person in general, in life and in general, and I don't think any of the rest of us really are. So it's good to have that. It's good to have that in the band. Like, he just fit all the way around.
It sounds like he did some good. He's good at arranging stuff.
Yeah, he likes to hear it his way also too. Since he lives a little far away, he doesn't get in the studio to write with us too much. So that's kind of his way of helping the process when we jam some riffs or kind of record a song, some ideas, and we'll send it to him and see what he thinks. And then that's kind of his take on, writing with us. So he comes down once a week. He's about 2 hours away. So, but yeah, it all works out great.
Yeah, I mean, that's we vibe on our stuff musically, and then he gets to listen to it with fresh ears. He isn't in there with us for 3 or 4 hours working on one track and one part and trying to find whatever, and we'll work on it, 2 or 3 days, and to where we get something that we want to send him, and then he hears it with fresh ears, and then with where he can tell his story. You know what I mean? Everything that he writes, he's telling a story with. So, it's just we're making the canvas so he can paint the picture.
What city is your band based out of?
We're in Huntington Beach, Orange County.
I mean, technically our studios in Costa Mesa, but we're from Orange County. I grew up in Anaheim, lived in Huntington Beach for the last 15 years, and then most of us are from around that Orange County area. But Rich is 2.5 hours away in Santa Clarita, So like, up north.
When the pandemic hit and live music locked down for a year, what did you guys do during that year?
For me, work slowed down a little bit. I have a wood flooring business, but that just gave me time to write, and practice, and just come up with new riffs. Man, that's pretty much all I did all year. I'm still doing all this year too. Just work, come home, and write. But give me a lot of time to develop new styles and learn new stuff. So, but yeah, I got a lot out of that.
When the pandemic hit, I mean, we had a few singles out that were on radio and doing stuff. And, we had good feedback, and we had people that were, checking into us and wanting to be a part of this with us. And, I think it was the last day before the lockdown. We had our showcase that the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood set up for us. And, we were having major labels and management and everything that were scheduled to come out there, and that's when all the craziness was coming. And we packed the place like right before it, on a Wednesday right before it came down, and we're getting calls from everybody like, "Hey, this is getting a little crazy. I don't, we don't know what's happening, And so we had some people that came out, and it just kind of like put a stop to everything that we were doing as a band, you know. Kind of froze everything in its tracks and took all the momentum we had and took all the wind out of our sails. But we just hunkered down and we did the stay at home and be safe for a little bit, and then we did a little lockdown challenge where we all wrote a song from our own place, and that's up on the internet somewhere. It's called Unsavory. And then we just finally got where we couldn't not be doing music anymore. So we would at least get together with us and in the same room, and we just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote some more music for our phase 3 stuff. So I think that was a good part. Put some more music in the bank.
After the lockdown lifted, did you guys play any shows after that since it's been lifted?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you notice like the crowd was more engaged and there was like more energy being live music was back?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is still a little bit wary of going out, and doing stuff. But the people that are showing up are the diehard people that were jonesing for music, just like the rest of us. I don't know. I think most musicians. I mean, I love to play live, and but we did a couple little tours, and a little West Coast run, and things like that. And we just got back from one about a month ago, actually. And um, everybody that was there were just loved the music. Some people were driving 2-3 hours just to come see the show. It was just like, I think having it taken from you, I think that people might be, um, you know, uh, grateful that they can actually go out and listen to live music and see, the people I know I do going to, and people that I love listening to and watching. It's like when I'm going to their shows, it's just not having it for that long. Definitely, I think they were more engaged and more excited and not worried about paying money to go out and see some bands anymore.
Mike, do you concur with what he said?
I do. Everyone that did come out, um, everyone had a good time. Kind of like, we didn't start playing shows till recently, not compared to like when everyone first started coming out. So, but now when we've been doing it past couple months, I don't want to say it's normal, feels normal, but people that come out always have a good time, and the concerts I've been to, everything seems pretty normal. So just kind of depends on all the restrictions California has to who's going to show up or not show up. Some places are recommending the card and vaccine. So whoever's not getting it, they don't want to come. So that might have hurt attendance. But for the most part, everyone out here seems back to normal.
California was different than any of the other states we were playing. So I mean, it was definitely a lockdown, and we did have one venue, um, just with mandates and everything that we didn't know about and we weren't aware of until a day before the show. Was which I don't agree with. I'm not going to mention it, but it was just like if you didn't have it, then you needed a test at the door before you came in. And if it's like a venue where you have artists that are playing, you'd think that you would provide the tests for people that are going to be coming in, and they were charging $40 a test on top of what our tickets were before they were coming in the door. And that hurt attendance, that hurt their bar sales, that hurt our everything. But it was still a good show and good people, and the people that came were diehard for sure. So
Elegance is wearing thin, indifference, try to feign the machine. Benefits, limited, tools in the set, you still don't have what you need. You decide to run and hide on the wall, only judging. Collect this jealousy, acting like you're sensitive, nothing like the clarity.
Okay. You released your EP Acronym in January. There's a cover of Faith No More song Midlife Crisis on there. Whose idea was that to come up to cover that song?
I mean, I'm a diehard Faith No More fan, and I always have been. So and when we heard Rich's first audition tapes, we always kind of had a patent vibe from him on some things, and I always thought it would be great to do a Faith No More cover with them, and so we were doing songs and we were out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and I was like, do we need to do Midlife Crisis? We need to do Midlife Crisis. And he was like, no, 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 we're not doing a cover. And another thing is like David's a huge Faith No More fan. Chris is a huge Faith No More fan. It's a little before the the young Bucks time. It was a little before Mikey's time, but it was like, um, you know, uh, the drummer from Faith No More ended up filling in for David back in the day when David got hurt, and so I just thought it would be cool to do something with David and do something Faith No More wise, and with and so I guess we heard a live version of it when we were on tour, and Rich was like finally into it, and so that's when we just went for it.
I'd like to dig into some of those songs on that album, Acronym. Hesitation. There's like a thumping bass and you're doing like harmonics over the verse. How did you decide to come up with that instead of like strumming or riffing? You did harmonics during the verses.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the songs that Mikey had to learn when he was coming in and join the band, and that was technically the first track that we sent out to Rich and to anybody that was auditioning for the band. That was the first track. I That's just kind of my style, I guess. I mean, I like doing, you know, ambient things in the background or making noises that, would accentuate the song, I guess. I've always loved harmonics. I always loved doing tapping stuff and scratching stuff and things like that. And um, I don't know. I just wanted it to be an open platform, especially with somebody if we were auditioning bands for vocalists. I just thought it would be something that we could. Um, it just kept it a little bit more open for somebody to do something vocally and in the background.
It gives a little bit better feel, different feel with the bass, kind of just going at it the whole time too.
yeah, letting Chris carry the song and just kind of accent in the background.
Yeah, letting it breathe a little bit there. Yeah. Now, you have this other song, Delusional, where um it pans back and forth, left and right with the guitars, with the riffing at the beginning during the verse. How did you have that idea to do that before you went in the studio? Was that done while you were in there to do something like that?
We came up with that on the fly. You know, the whole song was kind of on the fly when we started coming up with the riffs. But that's just one thing, kind of me and Joe do. Like he was just saying earlier, kind of background stuff. So kind of just try to change up and do different things. So I just kept playing that main riff, and then he was just kind of adding his thing in the back or on the right side. But
Like I try to write for the song. Like I don't need to be playing on every single second of the song. So it's just, even if I'm just coming in to add some accents here and there and let the vocals shine and let and Mike do his thing. And I do some stuff with vocally too, so that kind of helps me just kind of go back and forth with Rich on stuff. But it just kind of made sense to go back and forth and have David's groove there. But it's kind of like me and Mike's thing. So, but we try to do that anyway.
well, that's another thing in the studio. We're just we kind of wrote that song on the fly. We're just kind of jamming riffs and picking patterns, and we kind of got that beginning heavy part down. So we just kind of continued it through the verse, and you know, Joe will play something and kind of fill in, and the same thing when he plays a riff. I'll do something to fill in. So I just kept going with it, and Joe did his thing.
And there's a song called Anything But Right. And there's all kinds of different things going on it, but it kind of like showcases each instrument. I've noticed, like, there's even a little drum solo in there. The bass sticks out in certain sections and it shines on each of your instruments. Is that something that you thought about doing on that song, or was that just mixing wise?
No, I mean, obviously, I mean, we did a lot of our recording with Collier, Chris Collier, and he definitely brought things to the table as far as just recording and production wise. But when we first start, I think Anything But Right was one of the first songs that we really decided that we were going to try to go a little bit heavier. But I still wanted to have like a big open chorus and have it still be melodic, but have a David signature groove. But it was, that's when we were kind of like incorporating the 7-string guitars a little bit more and moving in that direction. But I think we just kind of had fun with it, and it was just like we wanted it still be vocal, we still wanted it to be heavy, we still wanted people, to bob their head to it. So, and wanted everybody to shine a little bit, because everybody in the band is pretty, in my opinion, awesome in their own right, and I'm stoked that I get to play with them. But it's just, we wanted everybody to showcase a little bit, and I love David's groove in that, and with his 808s and doing his thing, So
Yeah, when we write a song, we work on it for a while after too. So we always have a few different versions, and then it goes back to with Rich what he wants to sing and how his words and vocals fit into it. So sometimes we'll change stuff up later too. So, but it just worked out that way. I think another bass groove from Chris, and switching up, and I think we were kind of locking in on what we were doing at that point.
What do you guys got going on for 2022? What's your plans coming up?
well, we're going to release a new EP. We've got another EP that we're going to drop right after the first of the year at some point. I don't have a date that I can officially say yet, but it's we're excited for that. And we've got some more shows that we just booked, just to do We're doing a charity thing up on the 20th of February, I think, with Society One in Fresno. We're going to play the Whiskey a Go Go again. It'll be our first time back since before we shut the place down before the pandemic. And that's going to be on February 16th before that. And we're talking to a couple places about doing something in Vegas on the 19th in between the two. And we have a benefit show that we're going to be doing here local in Orange County for a good friend of ours and his family that ended up passing away from COVID, unfortunately. So we're just going to try to get together with a bunch of cool Orange County bands and play at Stages. I think it's January 16th. And we're just going to raise some money for the kids and stuff. He was a single dad, so and just raise it for him and his ex-wife and his kids and stuff. So.
Where could we get a hold of you guys at?
90971. No, it's fine. Yeah, we got Instagram, Facebook. Our handle is the Bias Band OC and biasofficial.com.
Yeah, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all the good stuff. We got stuff overseas. We're breaking into Sequencer, buying Band OC. You'll find us at all those places. We love to hear from you. Drop us a like, ask us a question. Love to talk to you.
Yeah, it's Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. Hear all new stuff. So EP2's coming out.
That's all the questions I got. Thank you guys for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Go give us some likes. Go give us some likes. Say hello. Drop a comment. Let us know you're there. We love interacting with our fans. So we appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.